So today, what I want to initiate inside of us is the true understanding of our spiritual work. And before you get before you take it the wrong way, because we'll explain it as we go along, what I want us to keep in mind today is I would like to initiate for all of us the true holy war. The true holy war. Before you start going off in the wrong place, give me a chance to explain it. Right? Because in Kabbalistic terms, the Kabbalists, as most of you have been around for a while, we understand the Creator already gave us everything. We are in the image and likeness of the Creator. We have all the light of the Creator and all the power of fulfillment inside of us, but it's invisible. It's waiting to be made manifest. So when the Kabbalists talk about holy war, it's not about doing something for God. It's understanding God already gave us everything, and it's up to us to manifest our God-like nature in this world. And so holy, H-O-L-Y, in Kabbalistic terms, becomes W-H-O-L-L-Y, holy or complete. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to have complete and absolute bliss, harmony, peace, unity, oneness, heaven on earth. That's the true essence of a holy war, that there will be complete harmony among all humanity, because there is only one humanity. There truly is, from that point of view, there's only one God, and we're all aspects of that God, so we're already one. So then where does this come in, this idea of holy war? It's very interesting that we read in the Bible, it says, Ki tetzeh lemilchama, and they translate it different ways, if or when you go to war. And it goes on to explain this holy war. But we want to understand what that war is really about. So if we started with that idea that God created us pure and perfect, as we often emphasize here in the morning on Sunday, we are already pure and perfect. There's nothing more for us to do to be perfect. Our job is to make it manifest. But in order to manifest it and truly feel the fulfillment, there has to be some kind of opposing force. Let's just put it very simply. If you get things too easily, you don't truly appreciate them. Is that true? Exactly. If you have to make some effort to achieve something, and you achieve it, now you have much more fulfillment from that. And it lasts forever because you made the effort. So as simple as when it says in the Bible, there was the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. It means that we are given free choice. And free choice meant we can choose the tree of life, the true reality, to act with our true God-like nature, or we have the free will to act in an ego, self-centered, selfish way. How many of you have never had a bad thought? Exactly. But every one of us are really great and amazing people. We truly are. So then, where does the bad thought come from? And this is the key that the Kabbalists give us that I think is one of the most powerful principles to help us win this battle when we go out to war. There is this opponent force, and where does it get its power? It gets its power when it can taunt and tempt us to act in a negative way. How many of you ever seen the game of ping pong? Maybe you even play, right? Ping pong, I like the example because it's very simple. Somebody wins the point every time. It's not like basketball or football or some of the other games where you can run down the court, miss the basket. You don't gain, you don't lose. The other person doesn't gain or lose. They got to go back to the other end. So they can go back and forth and miss the basket a number of times. Score doesn't change. In ping pong, every volley, somebody wins. Either you or your opponent. So then every time we have acted in a negative way, out of anger, fear, jealousy, greed, ego, we give a piece of our soul's light over to this opponent. And the opponent gains some strength. And what does the opponent do for us? Creates chaos. Creates chaos and distraction. Because think about it. Think of you have an important business meeting or some important meeting that you're about to enter into, and as you're shuffling through the papers, you get a little tiny paper cut. You ever had a paper cut? So at that moment, maybe, let's just envision, a person's whole career is on the line in this business meeting, and they've been studying and plotting and planning for months and months and months, and just as they're walking in, they get this little tiny paper cut. You know how bad that feels, right? How much it hurts what tends to happen to one's focus? The focus goes back to the tiny little paper cut, and the business meeting goes right out of your mind. Could be the most important thing in your business career, but it distracted by this little paper cut. And so too, as we give our light over to the opponent. Now, he can't keep it forever, but what he wants to do, he wants to keep taking more. So he creates distraction called chaos. Because when a person is in chaos, which is usually created by someone or something outside of ourselves, then where does our focus go? Like the paper cut. It goes on the person. Do you know what they said to me? Do you know how they acted? Do you know what they did? And we're so focused on what's going on outside of ourselves, we forget. The true opponent is not outside. It's not the other person. It's not the situation. Our true opponent is the negative thought in our own head that's saying, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm hurt, I'm jealous, I'm insecure, I'm egotistical, I'm greedy, I have guilt, I have shame. That's what we're fighting. So when the Bible says, Ki tetzeh lemilchama, when you go to war, he's not talking about against anyone else in this world. Because how can you go to war with yourself? If we truly rise into the tree of life consciousness, then when I look at you and you look at me, we're seeing the same person. It's like looking in the mirror. I see a part of myself. Yes, just like the mirror. When you look in the mirror, do you see exactly you? Think about it. You think you do, but you're reversed. Isn't it true? If you raise your right hand, the mirror lifts its left hand. You lift your left hand, the mirror lifts its right. So even though it very much resembles you, it's not exactly you. If you just take that a few steps away, then look around the room. We're seeing ourselves just in a different body with a different look. But we're all one. So then the going out to war is not against anyone or anything outside. It's going to war with that thought in my head that says, be fearful, be jealous, be greedy, have guilt, have insecurity, etc. That's the battle. That's the true holy war. Wow. That's for sure. Okay, let there be light. But it's important to keep that in mind. Because again, which are we more used to? Battling the thought in our head or battling the person, place, and thing outside of us? We're more used to the outside. And that's the key. So then we have to stay focused, which is why we affirm every Sunday morning. Consciousness is everything. So if we hold the consciousness, the battle is an internal battle. It's not external. It's within that voice, and it's that opponent inside of me. And it's my job then, when I go to war, to take back my captive light. When I gave my light through a negative action to that opponent, it doesn't change. It's still my light. It's just captured by the other side. So then the war is to go out after that spark of light that I gave away and take it back. If you will, to recapture the light. But now, what's going to motivate us to do that? It's not an easy thing, obviously. It's not easy to overcome our bad habits, our fears, our anxieties, our insecurities. It's not easy. So we need motivation. How are we going to be motivated? How are you motivated to go to work? Of course, you never felt like not going to work when you wake up in the morning, right? You're always excited and thrilled to go to work every day. Okay, so then what do you do on the days you're not so motivated? The alarm rings, you wake up and you kind of go, oh, I have to go to work today? What becomes the thought that gets you out of bed and gets you going? Got to pay the bills, I need the money. So your motivation becomes some vision of a reward, some vision of a blessing that you're going to get by doing the action. So too, if we are going to go to battle, to war against that negativity that's within us, that negative thought, then we have to be able to see what's the reward. So think about some blessing that you feel right now you're missing, some blessing you would like to have in your life. What is it truly made of? Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's help in the business, help in the health, relationship, it doesn't matter. Protection for you and your family. It's all made up of the light of the Creator. The beauty is, where's the light of the Creator? It's inside each and every one of us 100%. It's just waiting to be expressed. It's waiting to be used and manifest. So then we have to be able to see that through my negative actions, yes, I may have given away my light, but in order to go to battle and beat the opponent and take my light back, I have to be able to perceive in my mind's eye the power of that light. I want that light. I want to go capture or recapture that light, take it back from the other side, because I know the Creator gave me 100% and I want that 100%. So then I'm willing to go to battle because I know the reward, and the greater I make the reward in my mind, the more power and motivation I will have to go for it. And that's the real key. It's not so complicated. We're not out fighting darkness. It's a very important point. Yes, we have consciousness. We know that there's chaos out there. But when you go to war, you know who went to war? In the biblical times, this army that's mentioned in the Bible, in the book of Deuteronomy, if you read it very carefully, only the righteous people went to war. People with absolute certainty in the light of the Creator within them. Absolute pure intent to shine the light of the Creator and let the light of the Creator remove the darkness. It's not our job to remove darkness. It's not our job to change the chaos. Our job is simply to turn on the light. And that's why it was only the righteous people, the people who had that absolute certainty in the light of the Creator and could channel that light. So when we go out to war, we've got to stay focused. I'm not fighting darkness. I mean, try. How do you fight darkness? Go home. I dare you tonight, just to test it. When it's dark outside and you go home and it's dark in your house, I dare you to try and fight the darkness with anything but the light bulb or a light source. Go ahead. I don't care if you're a third-degree martial artist. Wah, 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 wah. You're going to get rid of the darkness? No. I don't care how much money you got in the bank. Well, you know how powerful I'm going to buy out the darkness. Doesn't work. The only thing that will remove darkness is what? Light. Some form of a light source. That's it. And once you turn on the light, who makes the darkness go away? You or the light? The light. So our job is just to focus on shining light. Again, what does that opponent do? He distracts us. You ready? Don't think of pink elephants. Don't think of pink elephants. Okay? I don't want you to think of pink elephants. Right? No, not pink elephants. You're not supposed to be thinking of pink elephants now. What's in your mind? Of course, pink elephants. So if you try and tell yourself, no, I don't want to think of pink elephants. Okay, but I'm thinking of pink elephants. I don't want to think of it. What are you holding on to? The pink elephant. So if you're thinking, I don't want to act with fear. I do want to act with fear. I'm reacting fear like this. If you're trying to fight the darkness, you'll never do it. The key is, how do you stop thinking of pink elephants? Think of green horses. Think of yellow monkeys. Something other than, you understand? Instead of fighting it, just turn to something else. So instead of trying to fight the chaos and all of our negativity, don't. Just turn on the light. Just think of love, kindness, and compassion. Just do some act of godlike behavior and let the light of the Creator take away the darkness. That's our job. Just stay focused on the light. It's so simple, that's where that opponent wins, because he makes it complicated. I mean, how complicated is your business? You got to figure all the economy and what's going on in the business and who your competition is and what they're advertising, what their prices are, and you go on and on and on and on. Everything is complicated. What are we going to do with all the chaos going on in the world? It's so complicated. This group and that group and these people and everybody else. But what we learn starting in Kabbalah 1, every human being at their essence is the same. There's not one human being on earth who doesn't want total and absolute fulfillment. Not one. We may act in different ways towards getting that, but everybody wants fulfillment. The thief wants fulfillment, that's why they steal. The people like us, you go to work because you want fulfillment. So it's not about the way we go about it, it's understanding that at the root we're all looking for that fulfillment. And so then we all have the same battle. And if we'll all battle the internal opponent, then guess what will shine on the outside? The light of the Creator. What could be better than that? But we have to remember, just stay focused. Just stay focused. It's not about beating the darkness with our power. It's just being a channel to the light. Let the light shine out of you. So you have to think today then just simply, what can I do to be more like the light? And where do you add light? Because remember, where is the battlefield? The battlefield is challenges and obstacles. The battlefield is not when everything's going well. That becomes also a trap of the opponent. When things are going well, we have that saying. It's funny, now you'll start to distinguish between the sayings of the light, of the Creator, and the sayings of our opponent. If everything's going well, what don't we want to do? Change it, fix it, right? If it's all working well, don't fix it. Don't change anything. No. So like I shared with a group this last week, if a person's EKG looks like this, good or bad, flatline, they're not around. There are unfortunately billions of people on the planet who live their life like this. Because why? Many of us, most of us, we come into this life good people. But if a person comes in good and goes out the same, they might as well not have lived their life. Our purpose is to be better and better and better. And therefore, the battlefield is challenges and obstacles. And that's why we need to keep in mind the reward. I'm going to receive light and blessings, greater fulfillment by battling my complacency, by battling my opponent. So we're not here, don't wait. Challenges are always being thrown at us from all different directions. Why? Because that's the plan of the opponent. The opponent, if he keeps distracting you, today somebody has a trouble in their business they got to deal with. Tomorrow it's something at home. The next day it's something on the street. So we keep being distracted all over the world by these different challenges. But instead, what the Kabbalists are teaching us, what we're learning here, is to understand there's only one person I have to deal with, me. Because the battle is never external, it's internal. When I turn the light on in my house, the light shines and externally removes all the darkness. I don't. I just turn on the light. So if I walk into work and I'm shining my light, the light of the Creator will take away the chaos. I'll have greater clarity how to handle situations. If there's a difficulty at home and I shine the light, then the light will guide me of what to do at home. Any issue we have is just simply darkness. And therefore the antidote is simply light. It's that simple. How many of you ever use a computer? How many of you are not computer experts? How many of you are mystified by the things a computer can do? Right, exactly. And yet, this very complicated instrument called a computer that does amazing, amazing things, if you boil it down to its essence, what's it made up of? What makes the computer work? Ones and zeros. Ones and zeros. On, off. On, off. So it's just a series of ones and zeros that allow the computer to do all these complicated things. The example for us meaning, if you boil life down, it's also ones and zero. I turn on my light, or heaven forbid I don't. That's it. Let it be that simple. That's all our spiritual work. That's the real battle, is to just let it be simple. It's not about the other person. Because how many of you have ever had something unexpectedly good happen to you? So where was your plotting and planning? How did you make that happen? You didn't. If it's unexpected, it means you didn't plan it. Yet somehow the universe was able to bring you good beyond your expectation, because somewhere along the line you did an act of sharing, you did an act of transformation, and that allows the energy to flow, and the universe brought it back to you, right time, right place. So that's all we're here to keep in mind. Our job is simply to be channels of the light, go out to war every day, and this is the thing. What I want to initiate today, let's us initiate the war. Don't wait for the opponent. The opponent's already got us. From the day we're born, we're in battle with something. Till we become wise enough to understand the battle is not there, it's inside. It's inside. So now that we know where it is and we know what's taking place, why would you wait? Why do you want to wait until the opponent comes and throws something at you? Don't play defense. We're here to play offense. And that's why I wanted to start us off with that statement. We're here to commit the true holy war and initiate it today. The holy war that we are going to take our light force, not wait for more darkness. Who in the world wants more chaos in the world, more negativity? Enough is enough. Yes or yes? If it's enough, then believe, and this is probably one of the hardest things, that we do have the power to change it. We can initiate that war. And as Karen Berg said, as you continue on in the verse, Ki tetzei lemilchama, as you go into war, it says, then God will deliver your enemies in your hand. So what Karen Berg shared with us is the word ki, which most people will say if or when. She says, but it also means because. Because you go to war, then God will deliver into your hands your enemy. That's the key. So if we're waiting for the opponent to fight us, we're going to be thrown off guard. He's going to catch us unprepared. If we're already prepared and we're waking our consciousness, why wouldn't we go out and offensively go out to take back our sparks of light, to take back the light of our soul? Because why? Why should we do that? Why not wait? Maybe right now you're feeling at peace, but remember the flat line. Some point, that opponent is going to want more from you. So it's either you go take back the light that you gave away previously, or he's going to try and keep taking more. So you motivate yourself, as I do for myself. I want all my God-given blessings. God already gave it. Kabbalah means to receive. It's to activate my desire for those blessings. So when you can say to yourself, yes, I want all my God-given blessings. I'm not willing to settle for 80%, 60%, 90%, even 95%. I want 100%. Because God created me pure and perfect, I want 100% of those blessings. And I will not stop. And think of it, the bigger the army of the light, the more people we can get into this holy war battle that are battling their internal opponent, then each of us removing that part of darkness that's ours by shining our light, then we're activating the next person also to shine their light, because they will see in us the light of the Creator. And if we go back to the idea, every human being is looking for that total and absolute bliss, then when people out there see us shining bright because we're more kind, more loving, more generous, more forgiving, more compassionate, more God-like, then all the things they've been doing that they thought brought them fulfillment, they're going to change also. Because when you see a winning formula, what do you want to do? Follow it or run away from it? You want to follow it. All our life we've been taught, avoid challenges, run away from difficulties. Now you come to Kabbalah and we say, no, run into them, embrace them, initiate them yourself. Go after your opponent, because the opponent has taken your soul's light and now we want it back. And today, as we decide that yes, the holy war is the last war. In Kabbalistic terms, and you may have heard it otherwise, the war is called Gog uMagog, Armageddon. Armageddon is not a war outside. Those words in Aramaic mean the war of consciousness. And that's what we're initiating today. The holy war against our internal opponent, because it doesn't belong inside of us. God didn't put it there. And it's our job today to work together in unity, and we can get rid of that opponent once and for all. We can turn all the darkness to light, all the chaos to harmony and order, and we can. And we must hold it with certainty. As Cheryl was saying before, we must hold it with certainty that we can turn the angel of death to the angel of life forever. God bless.